Welcome to the CueSports International Expo, being hosted at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino. This is the $100,000 added Predator World 10-Ball Championship, presented by CueSports International and sponsored by Predator, the only WPA-sanctioned World Championship to take place in America. We are in the second stage of this tournament, now a race to 10, single elimination for the final 16 players. It will be alternate breaks. And in the booth today will be Christina Snyder and Jeremy Jones. This is George Teachea, and Jeremy is here.
Great, we are excited to get started here. KACI and Omar are exciting players to watch. Obviously, KACI's been on the scene for a while and former Moscone Cup team player. And Omar has had some really great finishes lately. Some top finishes in the, he finished, second in the World 9-Ball Championship just recently. And now he's here making a run for the 10-Ball Championship.
Yeah, and even more recently, runner-up in the Vegas Diamond here just days ago.
Yep. I like watching him play, Having moved overseas a while ago, I was not so up to date in the last few years with some of the pros playing around the U.S. right now. But he does play quite often in Texas, and so he's one of the players that I'm a little bit more familiar with, and seeing him out at the World 9-Ball Championships, he's a pretty confident and aggressive player at the table. So I really like that about him.
Yeah, and always giving maximum effort, You can tell when he gets a little, we can all tell when we get a little down on ourselves when he hates a mistake, but he's such a fun-loving guy. He kind of shakes it off a little quicker than most players.
Yeah, you could see that. I mean, the other day, he was a little bit late coming into the match the other day, and didn't seem to faze him at all. He, even though he was starting one game down in the Diamond Open, he just came in firing, and didn't let that get him down.
He's almost like the perspective, oh, I learned something there, that you can't be late, kind of thing,
Right.
Rather than getting super down on himself and, questioning the referee's ruling and stuff like that. And he's played on this table quite a bit the last 6, 7, 8 days, so
Yep,
I think he's going to be comfortable there.
And Jeremy, what are you guys seeing on the break now that the table's been played on a few days? We're a little further into the tournament. I know they recovered the tables in between the tournaments.
Well, what I've seen is it just changes like the wind. It seems like, the guys that we had Carlo, it looked like 2 matches. He broke better than anybody. Then he had a match to where he really struggled with the break. Same thing with Omar. Really broke the balls nicely in many matches here, and then it can kind of leave you a little bit. So I kind of like the variance myself as a spectator and commentator and former player. So he's going to try and maybe bump this 6. This is dangerous to try and pull underneath this ball. Oh, nice stroke.
Very nice.
KACI, who I thought played a great match against Shaw. It was just like, he had 3 mistakes that if he just had one of those, you won't see it very often. And he had 3 in one match. That race to 8 at times, if you make a mistake or 2, it can make it look like you played a poor match, but not really. I thought he played exceptional. He got through all the tough stuff, but then just a few easy things got away from him in that match. But nevertheless, he made it through to the final 16, so that match against Shaw has kind of been erased. He can regroup.
Yeah, so we're to the single elimination rounds, and every match is important now.
Yeah, at this level, Christina, these guys make everything look so easy. It's easy to remember a mistake, so it's almost like glaring when they do make a mistake. Shane Van Boning, we saw him advance to the final 8. We got a whole group of matches going on the outer tables too. All these trying to get to that final 8.
Yeah, and looks like Omar is going to be the first one to get on the board here.
And we'll see. He had, like I said, a lot of success on this table at times with the break. So we'll see what game 2 offers for him.
Omar takes the lead first. On the outer tables, we have some other good matches going on. Billy Thorpe and Conrad from Poland. Looks like Conrad is going to be the first to get on the board.
Yeah, Johan Chua playing his fellow countryman, Alex Pagulayan. Aloysius Yap playing one of the crowd favorites, Oscar Dominguez.
Oscar is also having a good week here.
Yeah, I was very happy to see him playing not only in Arizona and then on more here in Vegas, and commented earlier that I felt like from match to match he was getting better.
Yeah, I know he's been in the pool room in action a lot this week. That also certainly helps hone your skills.
Yeah, and it definitely gets his blood going because that's, he loves it. And he likes the action. Oscar, a guy that never really tries to have an easy game. He doesn't really ever have an easy game, really.
Yeah.
So, always fighting with the champions. John Lehman racking here in game number 2. The good thing is, normally the pool gets better these last 2 days, and these, the guys have been here now a long time, really used to the tables, plus the extended race. They get a little more comfortable, right? So.
Yeah, I think this is a unique situation for them, and it's not that often that when you're playing in a world championship, you get the opportunity to play for several days before the tournament starts on the equipment in those conditions. So I believe most of the players in the tournament did play in the Diamond Open, so they've had at least some time to get a little bit used to what they'd be doing here.
Yeah, he missed the one there. We talked about it yesterday in a match. He used to practice 10-ball break a lot. And it seems like when you miss it, he broke from his left side, our right side, if you're looking at the screen. Notice how all the balls are on that side of the table. And that's not an uncommon thing when you miss the rack a little bit. It seems like, I'm not sure why, can't figure it out why, but they seem to want to group on that side of the table you broke from. It's a weird thing. Now, does he roll this, or does he try to make them both and draw back for position on the 2? Looks like he's going to just roll it. Yeah.
As long as he, I was just going to say, as long as he doesn't hit the 6 too full in the middle of the pocket, he's good.
Yeah, now he's nice to track up for the 2 on the side. It does go by the 8. KACI, who one of the players that didn't make the Vegas Diamond, but always usually prepared when he comes over to play. Okay, he wanted to get an angle on this 2, of course. Not sure if he wanted that much angle. He's going to have a pretty good touch coming down from the 2 to the 3. But if he gets through that, you can see everything else pretty playable.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all clustered on this side of the table, but everything has a pocket. Let's see.
It's funny if you just turn one ball around, makes a huge difference, Like if the 9 and 5 were switched, the rack becomes like way tough, so.
A little straight, but it's probably no problem here.
I think he can cheat it 2 rails out a little bit. There's nowhere that's too much angle on the 5, really, unless he gets way over on the rail or something like that. So, don't think he's playing for straight in. Maybe. No, he's playing for a little angle. I'm not sure if this is going to continue, but we saw some matches, especially yesterday, where it seemed the players were kind of breaking for each other. The table was breaking so tough. Shane he's a guy that really was a little upset about the way they were breaking, actually. So.
Yeah, that's something, when that's something that's usually one of your strengths and that sets you apart with players, it's understandably frustrating when you're not able to find something on the break.
Well, Shane's into it, he's been putting in a lot of time at the table. He wants results. He definitely wants a world title.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's eluded him in his career, amazingly. I don't know how that's happened, but it has. Now KACI with a chip in 10 to tie it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Jones here at the CueSports International Expo with Christina Snyder. Christina, this is the round of 16. They're trying to get to the final 8.
We're here tied 1-1. KACI to break.
And KACI can unload, so we'll see if he changes anything from rack number 1. Not sure what has changed with the rack since yesterday, but anytime the 1 isn't coming off the rack a little hotter, you kind of feel like maybe there's a few more imperfections in there than just a little bit. So
like you said, so far everyone has broken dry and are playing each other's racks.
And at this level, it's always very difficult to roll out. One good thing is the 8's got the pocket covered a little bit, so he can see this ball a little bit. So maybe he's playing the 1 off the rail. Maybe he's playing the combo. He's called something up in the corner.
There, yeah. So let's see.
I guess it's the 1-8. He would be measuring.
Oh,
no, that's what he played off the rail into the 8.
Oh, that's a great shot.
And the thing about that shot when it's land like that one caught the 8 thin, right? But you can catch it thick. You can catch it in between. You know, there's a lot of areas you can hit that 8 ball and still pocket the 1. Looks like the 3's a little tight, so normally when you get one that's tight, unless position tells you otherwise, you want to get pretty heavy on this ball, pretty full. Oh, he's coming back for the bank. That's how tight it was going by the 5. Yeah. Now he's got to kind of roll the bank and take a little chance, I think, for position. I think he does. If he rolls it, he maybe feathers the 5 and then maybe gets above the 7 for position on the 4. Kind of like that. Ooh, he used everything there.
Yeah, well, it was a bigger pocket with the 6, but.
Yeah, and I think if he cuts it, he catches the 5 thicker, and that was a big concern of his. He was worried about not getting on the 4. Oh, this is going to get a little straightish maybe. So he's going to have to show off some power here getting across.
Yeah.
Spent some time with.
Yeah, exactly what you said. You had to power that a little too much.
Yeah. Just got a little flat on that 5 ball, and that's what can cause misses sometimes. Now, KACI, you got to be impressed. He had to play right back after that match with Shaw yesterday to get into that final 16, excuse me. And he's going to get elevated here, maybe. Okay, he's all right. But he had to regroup quickly after a few glaring mistakes in that match to get through to this stage here. He's another one that I watched his first match, a lot of it, and he definitely improved tons each match, it seemed like. He hasn't competed in quite some time. Albania was one of the tougher countries to try and exit.
Yeah, I know at the World Championships he had some troubles with the visa getting out there for the 9 ball. So he was definitely eager to be here after missing that event.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I can't recall if he made the Whirlpool Masters either. So some big events that, you're not passing on those invitations unless there's something keeping you from it.
And I believe he is playing next week at the U.S. Open.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a shootout next week, I think. Well, all the guys in the country, so physically they're feeling great. Plus they got to compete for 2 weeks here. A lot of challenge matches at the pool room, which never hurts your game. Keeping it real simple with the cue ball. Like right there, instead of drawing back, he went 3 rails, wanting to make sure he didn't lose the cue ball somewhere.
And KACI goes up 2-1 so far. Everyone's breaking serve, and we'll see if Omar makes any adjustments for the next rack.
We'll try and get you some outer scores when we can.
Yeah, on some of the other matches going on, Mark Toicher is playing Carla Beato from the last round. It looks like they're just getting finished up. Beato is up 9-5. And we also have Billy Thorpe versus Conrad from Poland. And it looks like Conrad is up 3-0 right now. Billy's at the table, though, with an open rack.
Yeah, I haven't got to really see Billy pocket a ball yet. It's been all Conrad so far. He's right here on the next table.
And the 2 guys from Peru are having good tournaments this week. Gerson Martinez, Bosa, and Christopher Tevez. I believe Christopher just got knocked out by Hoy in the last round.
Yeah, always playing great. Really, I think Bosa impressed. He made this run in the tournament. Is he playing now, or did he?
He's playing Shaw right now. He's down 1-0, I believe, on the other side. So Omar made slight adjustments. Let's see if he gets any better results.
No.
No.
Don't see anything yet, and he's given up a pretty nice shot on the 1. Now it is a stretch, but KACI, some 6'4", 6'5". So, but still stretch for the right-handers on this shot on the 1. And again, the 1 kind of dribbled off the rack a little bit more. We usually see it kind of pretty hot off the rack going towards one of those corners. Yeah, still a bit of a stretch even for the big guy. Now the good thing is the 2's pretty open, so he's got some choices. You know, sometimes when you're stretched, you really want to lean on pocketing the ball, making sure that, you know, you get that done. With the 2 being somewhat open and the cue ball going towards the 2 naturally, I think he's going to be okay. Playing all ball fouls, so.
He already plays with a pretty long extension, but he looks like he's switched out his extension for a different one.
And it's not a comfortable shot with the bridge either, so he's doing all he can to avoid that.
So it's tough to start thinking about the clock here as well.
That's right. He already uses extension plus that minute he gets after the rack. I think he's cueing with a little inside to just come 1 rail maybe at the 2.
He's running into the 6.
Okay. Don't know if he has a pocket, Christina. Put him behind the 6 here maybe, 2 into the 3.
You don't think the 2 passes?
It's close. Yeah, he's going to shoot it if it does. Because he can go 1 rail across for the 3 by the 10. If it's any kind of close, though, he may pass on shooting at it.
Yeah, like you said, it looks like he's going to do what you said here, putting it behind the 6.
Man, that's not for sure ball in hand, but I only see a 2-rail kick here to the top rail, which is on the right side of your screen now. To the left, long rail at the top of your screen, and then right at the 2 ball. Guys are a favorite to hit this. Should 7 out of 10 at least, probably something like that.
Went a little wide.
Yeah, sure did.
A little fortunate here with the 3-ball over to the 7.
Shouldn't slow KACI down. Surprised he's not going one rail the other way though. Putting the cue ball on the bottom rail and coming one rail off the right side rail above the 6. Guess kind of preference here a little bit, but either way should be successful. And I wonder how quickly it'll take one of these guys to really change the break dramatically, you know, not just a little bit, but maybe go the side rail, try to play the 1 maybe.
Yeah, we were seeing that a lot in Diamond Open. But I have been seeing a lot more of this straight up break from the players in this tournament.
Well, I think on the outer tables, you're going to definitely see the guys. Uh-oh, is that okay? The overhit's been the one that's been the worry. The bet on this table is pretty darn fast. On the outer tables, I've seen definitely the guys break from the center more like traditional. Of course, they're racking their own. But here on the main table, I've seen a bunch of different types of breaks. You better hope that doesn't get on the rail.
A little bit longer than he wanted, but
yeah, that was the fear of, you know, making sure I don't get behind the 8 or something like that. So good thing is he didn't land on the rail, so he can get at the bottom of the cue ball. If he got to that rail, things would have got real funny.
So, Jeremy, tell me the 10-ball rule in the World 10-ball. We're playing WPA rules, not the amended ones like we did at the Diamond Open.
Right. Which rule?
The rule of pocketing the 10-ball early.
Yeah, you can pocket it early. Of course, you have to call it like any other shot, but it's just not a win. So you'll continue your run, but the 10 will be spotted. Just like no 10 on the break. Doesn't count. Other than that, of course, we're playing call shot. I don't think there's any other differences. Those are the main rules, just no early wins.
KACI will take a 3-1 lead here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. CueSports International Expo. All kinds of championships winding down. USA Pool League, BCA Pool League, singles, doubles, teams events on the 7-footers, and about 300 of those tables in this Rio Convention Center. Now Albanian KACI to break. Ooh, wow.
He made a ball, but
and he made 2 of them.
Yeah.
One of them is white and not what he wanted. Sorry about that, Christina.
No worries. No, this is... Omar is definitely excited to get at the table with ball in hand, but he does have a little problem with the 5-6 here.
Yeah, I think the combo is shootable. Matter if he wants to get later on to where he kind of double kisses the 5 to hold it, or if he wants, because the 5's going to have some speed when he shoots that combo later on. Now, we're assuming he gets to that combo. He should. Just stuns here lightly towards the 2. Doesn't want to get too thin. I don't think he'll try to disrupt the 5-6. Don't see the point in that. Does have an opportunity to do that if he wants off the 3. He could draw over and try to bump him and hold for the 4, but if the 5-6 is playable, usually the guys won't mess with him. They'll just shoot the combination.
Yeah, he was just looking at the combo, so I think you're right. That's what he's planning to do.
Now Omar, I think, because of his mindset, I think he's a guy that a lot of the players are going to worry about come, you know, the next few years, next several years, decades maybe, but I think he's going to get to where he's one of the guys looked at in these tournaments. I know that sounds crazy coming from Kuwait and there's not a ton of champions there, but just something about the guy, you know.
No, I think he's already getting there, you know.
Yeah.
He's had, you know, this could potentially be the third finals finish that he...
All right, needs a 5 to settle. Oh, it settled all right. Got a little double kiss on the 5. Priority there was making the ball, though, so.
And like I said, he has a really quick and confident pace at the table, which I think also can sometimes give you some mental advantage in these games.
Yeah, he's kind of a free spirit a little bit. We worked together a little bit before pandemic, and one thing about it is Omar knows he's still learning the game, and that's one thing. He's trying to be a sponge. But when he gets down, he commits to what he is doing. So a little bit of, you wouldn't say bad decision, but maybe off a little bit on the decision, he makes up for it with his commitment to the execution. So kind of like younger players in general, right? I mean, they can still win if they're confident and committed. So it doesn't require all the knowledge in the world.
Yeah, but he's quickly getting there too, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But he'll tell you himself he's wanting to learn more and more and more. That's why as soon as he hit the States, you know, it didn't take him 2 years to play another game. As soon as he hit the States, he's like, man, let me play some one pocket, let me play some bank pool. You know, let me learn as much as I can, which of course that was at the Derby when we all first saw him, probably 5 years ago, I guess. So they play a lot of different games at the Derby. Now Billy Thorpe, I think he's at 3-2 now.
Yeah, he's at 3-2, and he's at the table again on the run. And on the other side, we have Garrison Martinez, Bosa. He's leading against Jason Shaw, 3-1.
There's something happening on one of the outer tables. I'm not sure what it is. I know there's no chance that Chua and Alex finished already, but they're both putting their cues away and exiting. Do we have a score on that match? I mean, I thought it was like thought it was like 2-2 maybe, or 2-1. Back at the main table, we'll try and get you updated on that. But just kind of curious what was happening there.
They're not on the scoreboard, so I'm not really sure what's going on there.
No, well, they were definitely in a match. I mean, those two drew each other, and I could tell the way they were playing. They weren't fooling around, that's for sure, and they wouldn't be doing that in the middle of the other matches anyways, so.
On the bracket, it looked like they were an 11 o'clock match, though, so they may have been from...
Oh, you're right. They may have been an earlier match. Good call, Christina. Now, one thing that I saw there during that rollout is it looked like KACI used his extension as well to roll out. So not advisable in my opinion. I mean, it's got to be like really treacherous to do that. You don't want to burn that extension when you get 60 seconds anyways after the break, right?
Right, you want to use it for execution rather than decision making, right?
That's right. Oh, he's gonna love this if it keeps going. I thought he was gonna crawl up behind that too.
Yeah. Looks like KACI can see a sliver of this. He
may kick behind it anyways.
He might choose to go for rail first. Separate these balls.
Yeah, and even though, you know, the kick and stick, people always recognize it when the one's close to the in rail, but even when it's this far up, Christina, with top English, now you can't baby it, but you can't bang it, you know, just a nice medium, you can still stick the cue ball nice, about that speed. He caught it thin, though, so he's going to need a little help.
Yeah, he didn't quite get underneath it.
Now it looks like to me he probably just rolls this in, just tries to get clear of the 3. Maybe drag it in a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, like that. Drag stroke, one of the prettiest in the game in my opinion. This one here, he's got a drawer really loaded up with some left. Watch outside pocket. Ooh, he cut it thin to the pocket a little bit, so.
Used all the pocket there, but got it.
Now knowing Omar, probably just tries to get to the right side of the 8. You know, don't try to get too good here.
Yep, spun it over.
All right, looks like to me he's loosening up a little bit.
Don't really foresee any problems in this rack. Omar's got a good shot here to tie up the match.
Yeah, you get them racks when the balls are grouped near each other and makes things easy, and then some days it seems like they're never like that. You just always got to work through the rack. Get a little straight here where he's got to maybe go forward a couple inches to take this, or is he going to go the rail and then take the 7 down in the corner?
I think based on, I was going to say, what I saw him looking at before, he was trying to get to the side pocket.
Well, you could see a little of an adjustment with the tip position as he made his pre-strokes. Maybe like he changed his mind while he was down on the ball, which is, you know, pretty common that we don't advise doing that, right?
Right.
Change decision, just, you know, even with the shot clock, you can get up off the ball for a moment and regroup. He's taking the cut. So he's gambling a little bit here because he might get into the 9 with the cue ball.
Yeah.
Oh no, he just called it just to call it. Just in case he overspun it and kind of flicked it in with that English. Definitely never intended on trying to make that ball. We're not playing call safe, so no reason not to call the ball, you know, just in case. So.
Looks like he's just going to go 1 rail at it.
Yeah, that's the same thing. If you can hit it full with that high, you can still stop your ball, even though it's up a diamond or so. Now, that light speed ain't going to get it. Yeah. Well, the light speed wouldn't hold it either, so. It's going to cost him, most likely anyways, that 2-game lead again. Easy safety got away from Billy Thorpe there, it looked like. Even though I think he has tied that match at 3. I don't think I move it much here, Christina. Maybe just draw past the 8 and take it up in the upper corner or that same side pocket. He may go the rail, but I think he's going to stay underneath the 8.
Yeah.
And it's very similar, you know, mentality to the Mosconi Cup or any TV table. It's really not about the pockets and pocketing the ball for these guys. It's really about cue ball control, speed control, and really keeping it simple. Sometimes it's a hair more boring pool because the cue ball isn't moved as much, you know, but it's all about getting out.
If he gets out here, he'll take a 4-2 lead. The place here has really filled up today. We think we have something around 6,000 to 7,000 players in the building.
All right, we're back. It's the CueSports International Expo. This is the Predator World 10-Ball Championships brought to you by CSI and Predator Products. KACI from Albania, up 4-2 and breaking over Omar ALSHAHEEN from Kuwait, who actually is residing now in Wichita Falls, Texas. Happy to have him there.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of him out in Texas.
Yeah, he broke and made a ball last time. Got an awful cue ball kiss and a scratch, but he's going to like this one. And I'll tell you, you know, the balls behind the one, of course, you're always looking for those on the 10-ball break. But as I've seen, and George and I talked about throughout the week, that it seems like the ball going four rails off the rack, the corner balls, those have been the most consistently made balls, in my opinion. Now, we've had all kinds of balls being made, kisses, and ones that don't normally go towards the pocket, but that four-railer seems like the one that's been very playable. This is touchy here. A little too thin to hold. Maybe too, you know, not quite thick enough to go around the 9 with the cue ball, and maybe 3 rails back towards the 3 ball. So
yeah, he looks a little uncomfortable with it, but he's taking his time. He still has plenty of time with the first shot after the break.
I think he's going to apply a heavy inside English at a light speed, and hoping that it grabs and goes 1 rail back at the 3 with the cue ball, something like that. I don't think he can really totally predict what's going to happen.
No, that looks like how he's cute.
Well,
No, it's not.
He's letting it rip now, I think. He may be going like some 4 rails here like that, like really letting it go. And I don't blame him. I mean, there wasn't anything for sure, it looked like, so why not try and create some movement? Maybe he gets through the 8, 9, and 10, and he sure did.
Yeah, he's
still ugly, though.
Yeah, he slightly got the wrong angle on the 3 ball. The 4's not too far from the pocket, though, so he doesn't need to get that close to it.
Yeah, good call there. He's just going to try and hold by the head string just for that gap between the 8 and 9 to get the cut at the 4. You know, the 6 is in the middle of the table, fairly open, so that may have to go a little bit. Looks like maybe the 8 has him, I think.
Yeah,
and the 9 may have him cut off the kick a little bit, and that's a great camera view, but that's a pretty heavy swerve with an 8 ball quite a ways away.
Yeah. Just called for his extension now.
Yeah, I don't know if the 9 has it to where he can kick and come across the 4 and maybe put the 4 up that right side rail and the cue ball on the other side of the 10. So he may have to go for the swerve.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying for it.
Very little judgment here, all feel for the most part. Oh, good effort.
Yeah. Now he will. Omar comes to the table with a good shot to close this lead.
Yeah, we talked about it. I think it was Suke. And who did he play yesterday on this table? He won. It was, oh my, that ball grabbed a lot more than he thought, and really a fortunate kiss on the 10 that, you know, if he hits it full, he could be in trouble. But, you know, the table made the match, you know, I wouldn't say be sloppy, but slow. A lot of rolling out, a lot of little safeties because the table was breaking tough. In the next match, you know, it was just a bunch of breaking runs. So, you know, the break really sets a big tempo in these matches.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So far, we haven't seen too many good results on the break. KACI has seemed to make some adjustments that's keeping him at the table. But I like this from Omar. This is exactly what you were saying earlier, that, you know, even though he's made a mistake, he seems to really just get back at it, commit to getting out, not letting it really get to him.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, really spend a little time with him. He's just a fun guy, always positive.
Yep.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Omar ALSHAHEEN to break here in game number 8. We're at the CueSports International Expo. This is the Predator World 10 Ball, brought to you by CSI and Predator Products. Christina Schneider in the booth with us. I'm Jeremy Jones, and don't see anything down just yet.
No, but again, he didn't really seem to make any adjustments there.
I agree. And you know, the thing is, you know what the hard part is, and this is maybe where having that caddy in them other sports or coach could really help you, but he's had a lot of success with that break on this table too. So he's like, oh, is it going to come around?
Right,
You know, are things going to change? You know, so, but you still can't be stubborn. I think you got to be willing to change it up a little. Now it looks to me has at least a good piece of the one here to maybe chip it and run the cue ball a couple rails behind that group in the middle of the table. 6, 8, 3, and 10 and 2 maybe.
Yeah, actually. So yeah, it seems to be like what he's looking for.
It's a thin shave on that ball though. That's why he was looking at maybe trying to play it thick and go through it, but that's also not laying perfect. He's worried about that jump shot. He knows the one's going to open a little bit right here. I don't know if he got the snooker.
No, I don't think he did.
Omar's going to the jump cue, it looks like, so maybe just a little bit snookered. But it's amazing to me, right? I played so many years, even when we had jump cues, you know, now technology wasn't like today's.
Right.
But, you know, unless you're putting the ball over the pocket, you didn't think about, oh man, I got to guard against the jump also. But today you really have to be mindful of it. So,
guys today are so proficient with the jump cue.
Yeah, really. Kind of a lot of them, or let's say most of them are really good. And then some of them are just kind of like off the charts good. So here's that same safety, probably put the one behind the 5, cue ball, the middle of the end rail. That's the place you have to learn to put the cue ball. So many times these days that money ball's lying right there, you know, where it's at right now, and that just serves and offers for a big eclipse. A lot of times the middle of the end rail with the cue ball. Ooh, that one ball might be a little heavy.
Yeah, looks like he...
I would say decent.
I think you can still see or at least get up behind it a little bit.
Okay, he's going to try and bring the cue ball all the way back down where it's at now, I believe. Like a thin hit like that.
He left it open.
It's close. No,
no,
2
maybe
balls.
not.
Yeah. Well, that overhead will fool you, right?
Yes.
You'd bet he could see that ball, right? You'd lose some money saying, man, he can see that. And then, oops.
KACI's probably going to go 2 rails at this. He's called the side pocket.
Why is it? Okay, he needs a little bit more high ball. He's going to lose the cue ball to the side rail. Oh, no, he got underneath it. Nice shot. You know, KACI, we talked about it last night. Guys started off playing snooker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, his younger brother, great snooker player at a young age. I believe he won the European Championships, the Junior Championships. Great shot there.
That's a great shot, yeah.
I know he's one of the top Albanian juniors. I think he's playing pool as well. So, all right, has he got to go by this to get the 3 in the side, maybe? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't say the cue ball's on a string yet for Omar. He's actually got a really nice cue ball, but just trying to settle in.
Yeah, just taking what the table's giving him.
Should just catch 2 rails coming up the left side of the table. Just use the cut on the 4 to move the cue ball mainly. Wanted to get plenty of angle, but I don't know if he wanted quite this much, but it still should be fine. Just makes the ball a little bit more missable. Most of the guys I talked to yesterday, the players, have said that the outer tables, the rails have livened up quite a bit. And they always do that as the tournament goes on. It seems to me on this table, they've livened up a little bit as well. I don't think anything like the outer tables, but that may have to go a little bit.
Yeah.
And never wanted to have to go back and forth on this shot from the 8 to the 9. One of his stronger shots when he levels out and moves the cue ball with top English, but still.
Yep, shot that pretty confidently.
Still not out of the woods, Christina. I'll tell you. Probably goes up and down. Good chance he gets a little thin on the 10 doing that, but shouldn't be a problem. No, he held it nice. Yeah, checked the cue ball nicely.
So Omar will tie it up here, 4-4.
Good. Here we are. We're back. Again, KACI to break. Now tied at 4 apiece. So, alternate break.
Oh.
Oh man, how many bad kisses has he gotten? Both times he's made balls on the break, the cue ball has gotten an awful kiss up into the corner once and now into the side.
Yeah, he definitely he made some adjustments there. You could tell the way the balls came off the rack. But yeah, definitely an unfortunate kiss there.
Yeah, he's having to deal with some serious gut checks here early in this match, I'll tell you. We'll see how he responds when he gets a chance. But now again, Omar ALSHAHEEN at the table. I was just going to say that, alternate break leans and lends towards you not getting that feeling of course, you're not going to run a bunch of racks, but that, you're just not going to get to that like high feeling, it seems like, because you do get slowed down a little bit because it's alternate break.
Yeah, but at the same time, he has to feel not too bad about the score, given that he's, typically if you're scratching twice on the break at this point in the match, you've got to be thinking you're going to be trailing by more than what you are right now.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, he's going at the 9, between the 6, 9. Okay, 2 rails, that's perfect. Well, and also, one thing you can look at is, at least this match, the way the table's breaking, along with the alternate format, I mean, you get a 2-3 game lead, it feels like a huge lead, right?
Yeah, that's true.
A little bit. Oh no, it's okay. I think it's settled. Not sure he can get on the other side of the side pocket, but I can. Okay.
Yep. Omar's making quick work of this rack.
Like Christina had pointed out, runner-up in the World 9-Ball Championships this year. Most recent runner-up in the Vegas Diamond to Wu just days ago. So, on a roll, Omar ALSHAHEEN.
And next week, the U.S. Open.
That's right.
Playing a very similar format to the World 9-Ball. 1 on the spot. No kitchen rule.
Right, no 3-point rule at all. And it is winter break.
Exactly. So, yeah, so it's pretty much the same format.
Yeah, you're going to see some. I think you're going to see some guys hardly get to shoot in some of their matches. Of course, there is the pressure of the U.S. Open. I've always considered it the biggest title in the world. Now the World 9-Ball Championship, the field has gotten back to where it's supposed to be since Matchroom has taken it over. But it seemed like the U.S. Open, always with 200 plus players plus all the top players, of course. We're going to miss some of the Chinese this year. That's unfortunate, but for the most part, we're going to have most of the names you're used to hearing. Now the open hand break, open bridge break. So really just trying to use a pop and take a little speed off. But I do like him trying to make a change.
Yeah. Still not successful at pocketing something, but the layout at least gives him some opportunities to get back to the table.
Yeah, I'm wondering where I roll out here. Maybe by the 9 to leave a little sliver of that 1. You'll come across the 1 and travel the cue ball a couple rails back towards the 4-9, something like that. Otherwise, if he rolls out anywhere else, not sure what he's going to like about it. Or he's probably not going to get it back either.
It looks to be what he's looking. He's trying to see where.
I think you got to roll out in that area. If you roll out in a kick, you know, maybe just a little piece of the 1. If you roll out up here, I'm wondering how you're going to get it back. I guess he doesn't expect to, but he can cut the 1 into the 3 with a little right English and come across and use a big 5 ball to snooker him. That's an option. He's looking at kicking it down. I don't think I'd kick this one.
If he kicks it, I think he needs to get it kind of thin to, no.
Yeah.
He's calm aside.
So he's going to go after the bank. Kinda.
We'll see.
And then maybe hold the rock right between those balls. Yeah. Well, I was a little in question of the rollout, I ain't gonna lie, from KACI. So the thing is, when you roll out, there has to be an opportunity of you getting it back. You know, if you roll out to where there's like 0 chance you're ever getting it back, you're probably making a little bit of a suspect push. So. Well, KACI can see it, but with that miss, he's bumped the 5 and made the 3 very difficult. I don't know if he can get it thick enough to play a safety, you know, bump the 2 up and bring the cue all behind the 7-8. That's probably what he'd look for.
That's hard to tell from this angle if he can. Do that.
Man, that's about all I saw there, trying to get up behind the 8. Almost got there.
I'll probably see Omar go 2 rails at this if he's. I can't tell if he's hooked on the 8 or not.
I don't think so.
Oh, no, it's not.
Well, I'm wondering, can he spin this in slowly with a ton of right and hit before the 9 and get to the backside of the 3? It's real close. And he definitely has this shot. Omar doesn't mind the heavy spin at all.
Yeah, he's looking at it.
Yeah. Now, he may get a little steep on the 3, but I think it is a playable shot. I really do. Oh, he's trying to open it, so what a shot. Maybe no love on the 3, but
well, it's a good hit though.
I don't think he can make the kiss shot from there. I think if he gets a double kiss on the 3 ball, John Lehman better be paying attention to this one.
Yeah.
Oh, he made it. Nice shot.
The way they were laying, it didn't look like he had that.
No, it looked like the cue ball needed to be over towards the middle of the table to make that kiss shot. Maybe he drew off of it. We couldn't see where the tip was exactly, so that makes more sense to me that he maybe drew off the 3 to get to the 5. Not hitting the pocket, and we've seen a couple misses from Omar. You know, that's one of his strong suits, of course, like all these guys, is knocking the ball in. Thorpe up 6-4 now at the table, but not in a great position. We're making a big change in that match. Yeah, now got on the board, trailing 3-2. Shaw and Bosa. Bosa hanging right in there. I'll tell you, that guy's a fighter. 5-5 with
On
Shaw.
his way back, yeah. Those guys have also been spending a lot of time in the U.S. lately.
Your area, right?
Yeah, they've been coming out to Texas along with, I lost his name now, Mexican player that comes out with them quite often.
Ruben Batista.
Batista, that's right.
Surprised he's not here, actually. Thought he would play at least in the Vegas Diamond.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe Mexico's best player right now. It's close. 6-4.
Okay, we're back. Eck and KACI to break. Omar ALSHAHEEN is leading 6-4. This is a race to 10, single elimination. We're into the last 16 now.
That's right. We've had, of course, a few advance to the final 8, but this match here is to get to the final 8. And we did have Johan Chua that defeated Alex earlier. Okay, I don't think KACI changes much. Just maybe a little talk with the cue ball. Quit getting kissed in a bad place. He's made balls the last 2, and now cue ball's on the table, but so is all the other balls.
All the other balls.
Yeah. The timing was a little off there, though. Not much pop on the cue. Well, a little pop on the cue ball, but.
Yeah, it actually looked like those, you know, we were talking about those balls going 4 rails around. Looked like they collided with other balls on their way down.
Yeah, but they were maybe heading in that direction. So big shot here leads you naturally to the 2, and what looks like could be a 3-game lead, which we talked about earlier. At the moment, looks huge. 3-game lead.
Yep, especially this late in the match.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, we know that pool, anytime you play a stationary sport, it's going to be 70–80% mental once you get to a certain level. But I'll tell you, when you're breaking and things aren't going well on the break, it can affect how you hit the break as well. Like right there with KACI. I mean, he didn't make balls at the beginning, and he finally made a ball, get kissed in. So he's wondering what's going to happen on this next break, and you can lose a little focus on your execution. So got to get on the 5, and I think, yeah, he can pinch it. He can pinch it, I think. I don't think he wants to go back and forth 2 rails. That's a dangerous shot. I would try to, like I said, pinch it with a little draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say he might get a little thin on the 5, but that's just, what you're going to have to deal with. Is he going around these balls? Between the 10-6, 3 rails? Oh, nice shot.
Like it.
Okay, it looks to me he can, yeah, that's what I would look at, because he's going to stun, right? So to come inside the 9, he's going to have a little bit too much speed on the cue ball, so he's going to play the 7 from a little bit behind it to the rail, or at least that's the plan. That leads you towards the 8 anyways.
Really great.
So when is the last time we saw KACI pocket a ball in this match? I'm trying to recall. He was up 4-2, I believe. And that's when the break just kind of left him.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't recall seeing him. I know a couple safeties. There was a push out that was yeah, a little questionable. But it was a tough push out, I know that, but still, you never want to push out to like that offensive bank like he did. I don't think anyways, but.
Omar, even though was a little bit off on some of, on the 4 ball, getting to the 5, he just took what the table gave him from there on out and executed to get out.
Yeah, that's right. Strength's now knocking that ball in, like most of these guys, but really relies on it. Billy Thorpe really turned that match around. Now he's got a 9 and 10. Pretty routine to take a 4-game lead at 8-4. Conrad has missed a few balls, but Yap and Dominguez 3 apiece. Shaw regains the lead over Bosa 6-5. Can't tell what that other one was. Oh, okay, that's our match table, 7-4.
That's the match table.
No wonder it doesn't really. No wonder you got it where you got it. So we got the score right in front of us, and now a good look at Omar to break in game number 12. Well, let's see. I like the close bridge here for him, and him going ahead and hitting them. I mean, just unloading is what I would tell him to do. He put something into him, that's for sure.
Keep those track. Yep. KACI's going to come to the table with an open shot.
Yeah, does 2 have much? You may have to just kind of lightly play the 1 and come 1 rail just kind of near the head string to play the 2 in the lower left. I don't really see much of anything else. You know, a lot of times you'd like to gain this second rail coming into this 2 ball, but I don't think it plays here. You just kind of roll this in.
Yeah, I don't think there's much benefit for that in this shot.
Yeah, just take your medicine from there. Good touch on by the big man. Still funny though.
Yeah, still a little bit further out than he wanted.
Yeah, he can go into the 5 with the cue ball. If he goes by the 5, really doesn't help him much. No pocket for the 3, so I think he's got to go forward, maybe bump the 5 and the 3.
Ooh.
Oh, he was trying to stun right into the 5.
And you know, that's what happens when you haven't been at the table for a few racks. You're not comfortable.
Well, yeah, you're not comfortable, and the table hasn't reminded you how slick it is. Like, it draws easier. We saw that yesterday when he drew the ball back in the corner against KACI in a big game there. So he hasn't got to shoot on the table in a few games. And right there, it just drew a little better than he thought when he was trying to go into that 5 ball. So I think, what's he do here? Just bank the 3 by the 8 and lay it on the side rail and go the in rail with the cue ball. I'd keep it real simple here. He's going to shoot.
He's looking at it at least.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, I don't know if he can get the 3 rail path by the 8 to get on the 4, but there's a little element of safety here as well. If he misses it, he's got a good chance to not leave much of a shot. Man, I don't know what he left for KACI's. Like, man, everything's tough. Can he get by the side and spin down for the 4? I'm not sure what he can do here, Christina.
Is he looking for the cut, or is he?
Well, yeah, he was thinking the cut. Maybe I'll just go in them balls and try and create something, but looks like to me Top English could get him in trouble. He's trying to put a lot of side spin, right? To creep it down the rail a little bit.
Yeah. Seems, and you know, after coming off of that mistake on the ball right before this, he's probably a little bit more unsure of the shot.
And I tell you, you know, he's a mild-mannered big guy at the table, but I think frustration could have set in easily with Clinty in this match. He hasn't had much good things happening in his match, you know, like Omar goes for a shot right there, leaves him 6 inches from the ball, but he really can't advance on the run. He's gotten kissed in on the break when he has made balls.
Yeah, they'll definitely start to get to you. But
I'll tell you though, this is a shot and a run out that can turn things around, not only on the score line, but mentally for KACI. Knocks this in and goes up and down with the cue ball. Nice shot.
Does he have room past this 10 ball?
Barely. The problem is if he gets kind of flat, you know, doesn't want, he'd like to have a hair more angle, that way he could hit this a little milder to the pocket. But I think the 6 goes in the side by the 9 though, so goes in the opposite side pocket as well.
Yeah, you can just float forward. Well, this is an important rack for him to get back into this.
Looks like he can draw into the 9 to me anyways. A lot of people get fooled by this angle. Of course, this level they're not gonna, but don't realize what they can do to the cue ball from this little behind angle. Well, has he got to like stun by the 10 here, 2 rails? Looks like it. Looks like Top English might just get into the 10 a little bit.
Yep, looks like what he's gonna do.
Man, still not out of the woods.
Yeah, not sure he wanted the
Yeah.
the lower pocket, but
I wonder if he stuns here, if he draws the in rail and back. I think just stun.
yeah,
But,
looks like he's stunning. Oh,
oh, he followed. Okay. He's going to get long. Going to have to play short side on the 10. Now this is where you'll find maybe he doesn't try to get all the way to straight in. You know, if he overcuts the 9 a little bit, he could get on top of the 10 if he did that. So you just maybe stay above it a little bit.
exactly how you said, yeah.
Making sure that you don't have anything bad happen. KACI trailing by 2 games. Kind of now or never, right? I mean, he's got to have this break change. He's got to have it. Yeah, just nothing down, it doesn't seem. The cue ball's going to be okay as far as a little defense, and we'll see a rollout most likely from Omar.
You can see his energy as he's walking away from the table, and he's definitely glad he's not leaving an open shot, but he's noticeably frustrated.
Yeah, and he's usually a guy that really takes it in stride. Competitor. Now, trying to see where really to roll out. And the 2's on the bottom rail, so not too much worry about the offense, but he can't leave too much of a cut on the 1. Gonna use the 2 here probably to slow the cue ball down just mildly.
I think KACI, do you think he's going to choose to attack this?
It's going to the left a little bit. So not much safety options. A little bit maybe to put him behind the 9 and the 1 on the side rail maybe. I think if Omar gets it, he shoots at it. If Omar gets it back. I think anyways. But if KACI sees a line for the cue ball to where, you know, he says, hey, if I make this ball, I'm getting shape, he's going to shoot it. Otherwise, he'll put the 1 on the side rail, maybe cue ball behind the 9. Yeah, try to anyway. Great touch.
Like he got there, yep.
He's got to call something coming off this 2 rails.
There's a couple options for the 6 ball down there. The 1 ball.
He's going to leave a shot. one that he should take on. The problem with this is I don't think he'll roll it. I think he'll shoot it and draw between the 9 and 10 with the cue ball. You know, to the right side of it. Now the one thing is, got an outside chance to make them both. He doesn't want that to happen. Maybe he is rolling this.
Oh.
Yeah, he did roll it. Squeeze the 6 down. Well, that was a better option if he felt good doing it, because you're not going to make both of them rolling it usually. It's the comforting feeling you're going to have position on the 1 if you make that 6. Now he can come 2 rails here. He can come 1 rail.
A stretch, chooses to go left-handed.
I think lefty I would go 1 rail, but he may go 2. Yeah, he went 1. Uh-oh. This may hurt here. That little collision on the 5 really slowed him down here. You can't really say it's been one thing or another besides the break, but just something seems to get in his way here, you know, from really getting back to maybe a tied score line. Playing the 2 up, he's trying to slow draw behind the 5 here. Watch out for the 9, leaving him some kind of shot, kiss shot, something on the 9 if he doesn't get there. Jump shot maybe, kick shot, swerve maybe. There's all kinds of options.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite as tight as he wanted to be on this 5 ball.
Yeah, Omar will call the 9. Now, does he play it with the cue ball, or does he play the kiss shot? Or the combo, excuse me.
He's cool. He's a jump cue, so.
Oh, nice shot.
It's not out of the woods yet, but I think
I mean, he's going
it's a
to cut at
makeable
it,
shot
I
for
think,
him, yeah.
anyways.
Attention, please.
All right, speed's crucial here. There's a scratch in this lower right-hand corner, that's for sure.
Now he's opened the 3 ball, so KACI doesn't have to be quite as careful with the speed now as Omar did on a similar shot.
Yeah, I think he hits this with a high left and uses 3 rails to get on the 3, I think. You go right past the 8, hitting this side rail, then to the bottom rail and back up. Looks what a natural path to me, yeah, just like that. Watch outside pocket, should be fine.
That's good. I think Willie just got on the hill.
Yeah, I think it's 9-6 maybe, 9-5, 9-6. Made an incredible bank on the 9 right there, on top of the 9. Knocked it in, of course. We all know about Billy and the banking. It's in his blood. Pretty natural here. Just do what he does best, really. Knock the ball in. Just a little draw stroke. 8's over the side, so we're going to get it to 1 game here. Now Omar will be breaking.
KACI getting a few more strokes in at the table has got to make him a little bit more comfortable coming into the next racks. Keeping it simple.
And KACI. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy Jones here with Christina Snyder. Great player from Texas, and we're here in the final 16 of the Predator World 10 Ball. It's a CueSports International Expo. All kinds of pool going on, and probably the best break-off we've seen the entire match, as far as the results anyways.
He made the change, broke from the side, one ball in the side.
Yeah, and don't get crazy here. Just come out between the 4-9 and take your cut on the 3. You can go, oh, he's going to follow. He's trying to get a little better on the 3. I don't know if it's necessary. Hit it great, though. And now that really opened the rack up.
Yeah, he's got to feel good about the way this rack is laying.
Yeah, probably just after making a ball and getting a shot, right? You just got to be like, all right, here we go. Fought hard through this match to get a 1-game lead after 13 games. And I wouldn't want to say it's luck, but he's gotten the best of a few fortunate situations after the break, mainly. KACI, who, you know, sometimes you break and you get that kiss that you know, it's kind of your fault because you sent the cue ball near that side pocket or near that corner pocket, and then you promoted that kiss happening and something bad happening behind it. But KACI really had the cue ball kind of in the center of the table a couple games where he finally made a ball and the cue ball got kissed, and Omar took advantage.
Bit of an awkward angle here.
Yeah, and if you're worried, hey, come 2 rails and bump the 9. Hey, it's not the end of the world. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world anyways. You can draw 2 rails as well. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Just got to recognize the 7's over the pocket, or pretty close to over the pocket, right? So premium positions not needed. Oh my, he missed the line on the cue ball here, and I'm not sure there's a pocket there.
He wanted to come.
Yeah. Now looking at this cut, wow.
He just gets
Now
thrown
here,
at it, huh?
he don't want to hit the 9. He's going to have to come with another one. He's going to be able to cue it, though, so. I like him taking a little extra time here on this 9 myself. But I'm sorry, Christina.
No, I was just going to say that's what I think is so like disconcerting when you're playing against him. He has this just confidence. Even when he's out of line, he gets down and just commits to it, like you said. And when you're sitting, the one sitting in the chair, this can be pretty disheartening.
Yeah, and now 8-6. I think maybe our only break and clear the entire match that I can recall anyways, as far as a break and run.
Yeah, that's right. I think you're right on that one.
Yeah, yesterday, the first few matches we had, it was like every match started with a break and run.
We have some exciting matches on the outer tables going on as well. Shaw and Gerson Martinez from Peru are tied at 7-7.
Wow.
Billy is on the hill against Conrad from Poland. 9-7.
Yeah, Loisius Yap and Dominguez. What's that score?
6-3. Yap is leading.
Wow, he's won 6 out of 7 after trailing 2-0 in that match. I haven't seen Oscar at the table a whole lot, though, so. He's hitting them square. Now finally the results he wanted.
Couple balls in.
Yeah, I'll tell you, a great shot at the one. A little thin both ways for the side or the corner, but very playable. KACI does that a lot. He gets down and sizes it up. He's definitely not pulling the trigger right now. Some size it up just kind of standing at the ball, and then some need to get down on it to really feel what's going on.
See the line, yeah. Oh, he's not going to be happy with that.
No. Oh no. Didn't expect that at all. Shake of the head there by KACI, and you know, it's one thing to miss your mark, but this guy doesn't miss his mark very often. That one was missed pretty badly. Overcut by half a ball into that point, it looked like. The one didn't just barely rub the point, it hit about the middle of the one ball, so good spot for Omar, not only to get on the heel, but be breaking in the next game. And talk about it all the time in this alternate break format at this level. If you're setting yourself up to get 2 breaks to win the match, you've done your job. I mean, that's all you can ask for at this level, alternate break. So most of us are real happy to get that 1 break to win the match, right? But if you get 2, that's pretty sweet.
Don't really foresee any problems here. He's just going to float over. Probably want to get a little bit closer.
A little more to the right at least, right? Lessen that angle a little bit, but he's going to do what he does, and that's pocket the ball. Come 2 rails. Oh, my. A lot of movement there.
Yeah, it definitely stood up on that shot.
Well, this, of course, always keep track towards the end, but that is, games at the beginning they mean just as much. But Omar is going to remember that 8 ball. So a miss apiece by each of these 2 in game number 15. KACI taking a little extra time there, regrouping after that 1 ball miss earlier. The ball's going to be a little hot. He's going to have to put a little energy into the cue ball here. Probably the draw stroke, 1 rail across.
Problem there.
Resting near the rail with the cue ball, but shouldn't be a problem.
KACI gets this game. So we're back.
Yeah.
Omar to break. He's breaking again from the side rail. Had success in the last break with this.
Yeah, he made the one in the side. He's got to shake off that miss that could have put him on the hill, though. All right, cue ball squatted, so he was happy the way he hit him. Just tough table today so far. I'll tell you, Conrad has fought back in that match with Billy. It's 9-8, but he's at the table with a shot. Looking towards a hill-hill match there. think we're maybe creeping towards one here as well. 8-7, going to 10. Not easy. The 1's pretty easy. Probably opens the 6-9 up a bit when he shoots the 1. But what do? You shoot the 2 and draw off the 5 to get back for the 3, Christina? I mean, you're not going to move the cue ball easily off the 5 any other way, I don't think, anyways.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's see when he comes off of this 9 ball.
Okay. Kind of got more flat now, so even harder to move the cue ball. He's going to elevate, I would imagine. And the good thing is you can draw this off the 5, right? And he has both pockets. If he doesn't get where he likes, very easy to come off the 3 and drop the cue ball behind the 8 and 10 for a safety. So I wouldn't let up on this draw stroke here. I'd definitely get into it a little bit. I don't think you can really get hurt. Yeah, like that. Just go ahead and let it. Yeah, let it go. If you don't get the angle you want or the playable shot, like I said, the easy safety should be there.
He's looking at it now.
Yeah, the thing is,
Just trying to see, does he want a long shot on the 4?
I think that's about all you can get, and the problem with that is getting back for the 5. It's not so much the pocketing the 4, but what am I going to do with that thin shot on the 4 to get on the 5? Oh, we hear some claps in the background, so that's got to be the Shaw match, I would think. Maybe not.
I think you're right. I think Shaw maybe just won. He was up 9-7 a second ago.
And speaking of nearing the end, Conrad Jushishin. That tells you. All right, so he's going to try and come down between the 9 and 5 and then between the 10-7 to this bottom rail and back up. Don't think inside English is the play. Trying to go to the right side of the 9, but Jushishin and Thorpe tied at 9 apiece with Conrad breaking. So a tell 2 matches there. Conrad up early and then Billy grabbed the lead. Some 3 or 4 game lead, and then now Conrad back at it. Hill.
Just all the shot clock there. Looks like he's going to come out okay on this.
Yeah, really nice line on the cue ball there. And the thing is, you don't really guide that line. You know, you make that full stroke, and that's what really helps the cue ball hold that line that you're imagining. A lot of people think it's a precise kind of calculation. It's really not. Don't see one down for Conrad over there just yet. Billy's got a shot. Bunch of cluster in the middle of the table, so position on the 2 a little tricky. We'll keep you informed there.
It's an important rack here for KACI.
Oh, that cue ball's diving down a little bit. That's good, though. I think Thorpe got snookered on the 2, and it looked like it was a tough one from the 1 to the 2. ALSHAHEEN, I wonder if he's still thinking about that 8 ball. Probably not, but that was to go ahead 9-6. Man, what a position you're in there.
KACI stayed under the 8 ball. Just float up off this rail. Give yourself a little bit of angle, come back down table.
Just settling himself before this 9 ball. Well, Conrad at the table there. 9-9. About to be 8-8 here on the main table. Going to 10. And he's got to wait for a shot. KACI's at the table breaking. He's finally made a ball on the break and not got kissed in the corner or the side with the cue ball. So
from the Hill match, like Jeremy said, Conrad's at the table. It looks like the table is open. I can't tell. Is that the 9 and 8 seem a little bit close to each other?
Yeah, he'll have to, when he shoots the 8, bump the 9 open is probably what he'll want. See where the cue ball's at now? That's about where he'll want it on that line, and he'll just try and bump the 9 open there. So Conrad's always impressed me. He's a guy that, in my opinion, you don't feel like he's doing a whole lot to you. He just keeps getting out. So
he's looking at it right now where he wants to be.
yeah, that's the perfect line. He'll go 3 rails into that position, it looks like. Yeah, barring a miss, this 9 should come out for the side pocket, it looks like to me. It depends on the speed he hits it, but now to the main table again, KACI. Race to 2 from here.
This break is very important. And 1 ball down.
And he's made that second ball on the side. He's going to get a shot on the 1.
Get a shot.
Pretty, yeah, decent.
Yeah.
A little elevated, but decent.
Looks like he might be able to cue next to it. A little celebration from the Polish crowd.
Yeah, well, a nice comeback. Not sure what's going on there. I think it has something to do with the WPA, though. Back and forth. Stayed clear of the 4-9. Great angle on the 2. It looks to me the 3 plays. Very comfortable stroke there. May have to take a little distance on the 4 if the 3's any kind of tight, Christina. You don't want to kind of push it to get a little closer to the 4 with the 6 hanging, right? I mean, just kind of stun one rail going towards the 4, and if you get an extra foot out of it, that's fine, but you don't need to be close to your work. Yeah, just kind of go at it as best you can.
Looks okay from here. Look pretty straight on this 4. Pull back a little bit. Just gonna slide out a little to the middle where he's pointing to now.
I think he goes for the side, right? On the
Yeah,
7?
he
just coasts the cue ball down a little bit. Probably doesn't try to get too thin on the 7, but definitely wants to get past it a hair. Can go by the 9 easily. I think he can.
He can. I think that's
Main thing here, stay off the rail with the cue ball. A little out of line on the 8, no problem, as long as you got the, have the entire cue ball for tip position. It's amazing how important that is. Staying off the rail with the cue ball. I mean, you can be on the wrong side of the ball a lot and still get away with it if you have the entire cue ball open to recover with. So. Man, kind of like earlier, of course, we had an 8-ball miss by Omar, but when's the last time? It kind of feels like it's been a while since we've seen him shoot in this match,
yeah,
which was
right.
pretty much like it was earlier with KACI.
All right, KACI.
Omar ALSHAHEEN of Kuwait, runner-up in the Vegas Diamond, that being the Predator Pro Players Series, brought to you by CSI. Now here at the CueSports International Expo and the Predator World Championships, World 10-Ball Championships, also presented by CSI. And things have changed in this match. Oh, the 8's going to drop.
Okay, dropped. We are down to the final 16. These are all single elimination rounds.
Yeah, and a tester on the 1. You know, his last shot at the table really was that miss on the 8. So he's got to clear his mind here. He's got to pocket this in the corner and maybe, you know, kind of fall between the 9 and 5. I think if he goes down, he may get behind the 9. So he's got to have good speed on this as well. I don't know, it's a good angle there. He can get by it. No problem. Nice shot. It's a race to 10, so you can see the score line on the bottom left of your screen. The Albanian needs 1 game. Omar needs 2. Needs a bump, and he got it.
He got it, yeah. Nope. Camera angle doesn't look.
He may have to spin it a hair. Oh, yeah. Good thing for him is, yeah, the 4 does go by the 6. Oh, he got a lot into that, so I thought he had to hit it a little more mild to get by that 4 and make the 3, but just barely snookered. He may stay underneath this, may come above it on the 5, we'll see. Put some inside on there, and he's going to get over the 9. This is going to be ugly with a natural scratch if he hits a high ball. That's why
calls for the referee here.
Yeah, that's why I was saying he may stay underneath this 5 ball, you know, just to make sure everything stays simple. He's in trouble, Christina. He's in trouble. This is really leading towards a scratch. He may have to play it in the other corner or play a safety. He's gotten really in no man's land here. And he could see it from the shake of the head. Like,
no, he's not happy about it.
No, of all the places is what he's saying to himself. Yeah. He's got to hit downward on this to avoid the scratch. And he fouled the 9 for sure. Oh, Omar's conceding, I think, these last 4. And we won't see Omar anymore in the Predator World 10 ball, but a great finish in the Vegas Diamond.